my retards, and welcome back to the Magic Kool-Aid News Network. It's me, your host, the irreverent Dr. Michael Christ, and I'm here to bring you news from the depths of whatever horrific echo chamber I found myself trapped inside of. And please, all of you, please help me get the fuck out of here, because honestly, look at what's happening to me. Look at what I've become. Please help me. Now on to some brief announcements. The first announcement I want to make is that I'm having a live stream with Carlos Sharp for episode 3 of Trigger Warnings. That's happening Sunday. I'm not 100% sure of the time, not 100% sure of the channel. I will put up a brief announcement video soon to let you all know when that's going to be. I'm also looking for guests for future episodes, maybe not episode 3, but maybe. I like people in the conspiratard echo chamber that I spoke of a few minutes ago, so if you're inside of that echo chamber, come on down, okay? We want you, maybe, if you're interesting. So you don't have to be a flat earther, you don't have to be involved in it. Like, if you're a fucking shaman, like Patrick John Coleman, step on down. Not that Patrick has the balls to ever actually do that again with me on the other end of the line, but anyone, you, Lord Steven, I would love if you would come on Trigger Warnings. You know, I know that you'll just fight with Carlos the whole time. I'll take a neutral position because I like you both, but I'm just throwing it out there, Lord. If you ever, in all of your eternal boredom, feel a desire to come on to Trigger Warnings, you're totally welcome, okay? Not that I would ever be so lucky. So, speaking of Lord Stephen Christ, I'll get to you in a second, okay? Because there's one more announcement that I need to make. It's come to my attention that there are some people out there who have been very helpful with me building my channel, who I just sometimes don't mention because they don't make videos and they don't engage in drama directly, although some of them do definitely engage in drama. So I want to throw out a few thanks to some people who have been very instrumental in the direction of my channel. Fractal Truth, I've mentioned him before, but he's always been very helpful. I know he's kind of aggressive with some of you, but that's who he is. I also want to thank Iggy1971. Even though you're blocked from all of my channels and no one can see your comments unless you directly reply to them, Iggy, I want to thank you for being a supporter from day one. Even though you constantly talk shit and spread rumors about me, you watch every single video. Thanks, Iggy. I also want to thank Teresa Verrier, Miss Tree 1. She was instrumental in freeing Vitali and various other black operations that we won't talk about here. Thank you, Teresa. And by the way, guys, Teresa, like myself, a real shaman. I also have to thank Yvette. That's right, you probably know who Yvette is if you know anything about the Flat Earth. Yvette has been a fan of mine long before I pretended to be a flat earther. She knew who I was, and she helped spread the word about my channel, and she's been helpful with advice, and just generally a good friend. So I would like to thank Yvette, Chris, and Natalie. You guys have probably been around longer than any of these other people I've mentioned so far, so thank you guys for being big supporters. And Natalie, stop listening to James Jackson. Come on. Do I have to do another James Jackson video? There are other people who I'm also not mentioning. I just want to thank everyone for links and support. The only reason I'm doing this still is because I found out there are people who like it and who appreciate what I'm doing. So thanks for letting me know, everyone. It's very important to me. So thanks again. And thanks. Did I mention thanks? All right, Steven, I know you've been waiting. I wanted to make a public statement about you because a lot of people have issues with me liking you. It doesn't seem to make sense. Like, they can't wrap their heads around it, even though I've explained it. I want to give a more in-depth statement about how I feel about you. And I want to let everyone know that this is not a reflection of Steven's beliefs. This is my own beliefs. This is my own justification for liking Steven, okay? So you can either accept it or not, but I will give you a little more depth to it. I have held off from talking about it because I feel like it's kind of rude of me to explain what I'm doing. It takes away from it, really, and I would like people to understand it on their own terms. I feel a strong compulsion to explain it to you, even though it does kind of ruin the whole thing. So I'm going to do it, okay, guys? So I'm going to read from this public statement, okay, everyone? Because I'm running out of time. I'm not going to freeball it. Did I say freeball? Steven, like myself, likes to demonstrate his intelligence, and so he's looking for people to play games with because he's a fucking master at playing games. It's an underappreciated talent of his. I wish people would see. Steven probably is great at chess. That's all I'm saying. But these games that I played with Steven enlightened me. They brought me to a greater understanding not only of myself, but also of Steven, and of YouTube, and of conspiracy theories, and generally of society, because I realize things really can have multiple meanings. Steven is telling us something about ourselves, okay? If Steven upsets you, that tells you something about yourself. And if somebody's upsetting me to the point that Steven did, I would, of course, try to understand why it happened. But most people won't go that far. But Steven would escalate, and I would not always see coming what he was going to do. And he did impress me many times with his counteroffensives.
Holy fel så stabiler väldigt lasesnä alla kan nej. Nej, jag tror det säger riktigt ja. Nej, det säger det som jag måste göra med jag får göra det jag läste skin för all vi då. Jag lär mig vi ben för när vi skallar korrekt så det. If all flying of is in this philosophy with yellow.
There's like a weird explosive chemistry between Steven and myself. Now, am I playing games with Steven still? The answer is You're probably wondering why I put up with Steven's claims about the cell Earth. Let me just start by saying that I'm a Jungian thinker. If you don't know what that means, Carl Jung was a psychologist from the late 1800s, I believe. And he believed that everything you observe in life, you're going to interpret. And those interpretations are simply symbolic of your own subconscious thoughts and behaviors. Whether we're talking about a fact or an idea, your interpretation of it says one thing about you and nobody else. Any observations you make are only observations of your own internal thinking, okay? And so I view what everyone says to simply be a reflection of the thoughts inside of their own heads, okay? That's also how I have my shamanic powers, just so you know. You can be a shaman too. And I should further add that the closest thing I have to a philosophical or spiritual belief about life is that life is very dreamlike. Perhaps life is a dream, a very complex dream. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm a retard. But dreams are laden with metaphors and symbols, just as I feel life is if you view it through the Jungian lens. Now, what I consider to be Steven's parable of the cell Earth, it does kind of ring true. Do I believe that the Earth is literally a cell? I have had this belief follow me for a long time, way back from before I was a conspiratard, that as above, so below is a good general rule for the workings of nature. And so when Steven says that the Earth is a cell, it does ring true to me spiritually, because I do feel that metaphors manifest themselves in the physical world. This was probably a bad idea, right? Anyway, you know what? Who knows? Who cares? So there you go, Steven. Some solipsistic rambling for you. I probably just made a total ass of myself and answered nobody's questions. And I read from this paper about half the time, and it probably looked very unprofessional. But, yeah. Don't worry, there'll be a lot of corrective discipline and public shaming in the upcoming segments, okay? And I'll see you on the other side of the break. Adios!